Hey there, you're listening to Movies Not Music, the bi-weekly Waves on the Shore series where Jaron walks me through the wild world of the film industry. We're so glad you're here today. All that's left to do is kick back, relax, and enjoy.
We're not biased. We just don't like bad music.
We bing and we bop and we bada bop boom pow.
None of that rhymed.
Super hot fire. It's not supposed to rhyme. It's a reference. Did you not
But you know what does rhyme?
But literally everybody who's listening to the podcast understood that reference except for you. Have you ever seen B-Bone versus Super Hot Fire? I'm pretty sure you've used it in editing. It's like when the rap battles going on.
Oh my gosh, I'm so dumb. Okay, yes.
You can say that again.
Well, you were not doing it any sort of justice.
The video is called B-Bone versus Super Hot.
I know, I didn't put that together. Okay. You know what I did put together, though?
Go ahead.
The conclusion of this movie we watched for this episode of Movies Not Music. Jaron, do you want to introduce what movie we watched this week?
We watched Where the Crawdads Sing. a quite pretty decent film, I think.
By Reese Witherspoon.
Well, she produced it. She didn't direct it, I don't think. But I have... That whole relationship is actually kind of interesting now, so I'll just go ahead and get into it. So, Delia Owens wrote the book that this movie is based off of. Mm-hmm. I have read this book. I read it actually very recently after it.
Well, it's only 2018, so...
Yeah, I read it I think maybe in 2019 is when I read it. So it's been a few years. And I guess, like, Reese Witherspoon, around when it came out, was like, this is a really good book. And when you have someone like that just shout out your book, all of, like, the white moms are going to be like, oh my god, I gotta read this book. And so everybody read the book. And my AP Lit teacher, who happened to be white and a mom, recommended me that I read this book. And so I read it, and I wrote an essay on it, I think. Or I did it for some kind of project in that class. But the book's really good. Maybe probably still a little bit better than this movie, but the movie's not bad for sure. And we can get into that. But I do think it's just kind of fascinating that Reese Witherspoon liked this book so much that she was like, I'm going to produce the movie that
it's
this
interesting
book
too.
has spawned.
So, I mean, well, maybe we should explain the gist of the movie first. But should I give a brief summary, a brief synopsis of the movie?
Yeah, sure.
Do you got one pulled up or something?
I mean,
we're gonna do an overly extended, scatterbrained review of the plot, anyways.
Sure. But here, wait. Basically, it's a story about Kaya, who basically is abandoned by her family and raises herself in the North Carolina marshland. And she just kind of, from what she was taught as a child, but also what she's taught herself growing up alone, she kind of becomes this self-sufficient, like she just kind of lives off of nature, occasionally goes onto the outskirts of town, and she's kind of this outcast. And when a very popular high school dude is found dead, she is the prime suspect in his murder. And so that's the kind of basic plot of
and so the movie starts off with the police chase and her getting apprehended, taken in, and she meets her lawyer. And so the movie kind of bounces back and forth between her retelling her story, whereas I believe the book is just a chronological, like...
No.
It's not?
It's not. The book jumps back and forth.
It does jump back? Okay,
okay. I do have a question, though, and this is very relevant. Have you listened to Carolina since you've watched this movie?
Yeah.
Like,
so
for our listeners, Carolina by Taylor Swift was a song It was written by Taylor Swift for this movie.
I had Carolina. It's one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs. It's in my top 10 Taylor Swift songs, and I love that song. And I'd always seen like Carolina from the Motion soundtrack, whatever, Where the Crawdads Sing. and I never watched the movie, but I was like, dang, this is a crazy good song. So when I heard we were watching this movie, I was excited because I was like, oh shoot, I know the song Carolina. And now listening to the song Carolina goes way crazier.
Yeah, I
like
was
the
gonna
song
say-
is so good now.
I know. And so that's what. So when you did, I think, a top 10 Taylor Swift video, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like the only person that seemed to know what the song was about. And so I like wrote a pretty big comment on your video, and I think you were probably the only person that read it. But I was attempting to explain without a ton of spoilers what the song was about.
Yeah.
And yeah, totally. If you know the story, you kind of understand what the song is saying. I can imagine.
So cool.
It's a little hard to. It would be a little bit harder to piece together if you don't know.
Because it's very vague, but that when you know
intentionally.
the context, that makes it so much better. The vagueness becomes its strength.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna come out. Do you keep up with my Letterboxd?
Did you? Oh well. When did you watch this movie? Last night.
Yesterday.
Okay. So I mean, I have not been on Letterboxd today. I was on Letterboxd briefly yesterday, but I think it was before you watched I think I was on Letterboxd trying to think of what movie we should watch, and then I told you to watch Where the Crawdads Sing. I think that's what happened. So,
should I read my review and then we move from there?
Sure.
So, I gave it 5-star and said the GOAT movie for real. This is my favorite movie we've watched.
For real, like actually?
I'm not kidding you. Like I'm putting this over Casino Royale. This is like
that's a bit of a take, actually.
Maybe it is. Again, this is not coming from someone who has.
That's true. That's true.
Yes, it's that Swiftie energy of me going to a John Mayer concert.
I gave this movie a 3.5.
I know. I saw you gave it 3.5 because I was curious. I think the like overall rating is 3.1. And again, I am not some movie connoisseur, so I'm not sitting here saying, "Oh my gosh, man, that camera work was just awful," or like, "Could they have really not
what
made
was that
the
shot,
greenery
bro?
a little?" Yeah, like, whatever. But no, this was my favorite movie we've seen, and since I've seen so few movies, I think this just naturally takes the spot as my favorite movie for now.
Okay.
I truly loved this movie.
It's
like I was actually so excited to talk about it because I liked it so much. I finished the movie yesterday, and then I was like, "Holy crap, I loved that!" So I started like Googling other stuff about it, and I was watching videos of like comparing the book to the movie, which is why I was trying to draw some comparisons.
Here's
there.
a thought: maybe read the book.
My mom has the book actually. A white mom has.
Of course she does.
So she said you can read it, and I was like,
amazing.
I really want to. I was like watching videos of like what's her name, Daisy Edgar Jones is the main actor.
Yeah, she's the lead
watching
actress.
different like little videos she's done and stuff, and I like she did like questionnaires and stuff after the movie release and whatever.
Sure.
I was watching those. I was researching the author, and I found out. Have you ever researched the author that much?
Delia Owens is from North Carolina. She lives in the marsh, I believe.
And she's she was a conservationist.
Yeah.
And the character is actually quite a bit based on her because she's wanted for questioning about a murder of a Zambian poacher when she was over in Africa. So I like the character. Now, it doesn't sound like they think she committed it. They think she's a witness who saw who did it. But because I think so here we've kind of given a brief overview, and I'm assuming most people listening have seen the movie. Maybe they haven't. I don't know. We haven't given a full recap of the whole plot yet, but I think it's the most attached I've become to characters in the movies we've watched.
Wow.
Like as far as the characters in all the movies, these are the ones that like I've got myself attached to. Like, what was his name in The Spectacular Now?
Sutter.
Sutter wasn't my boy. Okay.
Sure.
Neither was Ricky. Ricky was not my boy. And it's like watching James Bond in Casino Royale is a sight to behold, right? I love that. But I think this was the first movie where I was like actually like
we're gonna have to start hitting some I just want to start hitting like a bunch of genres. Like we might watch Gladiator next.
Because
Gladiator will
like,
be like will be like nothing you've ever seen. And
I'm open for it. But yeah,
we won't. I promise we won't watch a scary movie unless we're like in person together. You can hold my hand. You know.
We'll
you
do
can
that when you
cuddle.
come to Canada.
Maybe get the ice cream out. You know.
Yeah, it was
But
the first time
anyway,
I've come like really connected to the characters, and I think the plot, like, the plot of the movie, the story, the reveal at the end, everything is so badass that I was just like, at the end of the movie, I was like, dang, that was crazy. But you know what's really annoying, right? So I started watching this, just chilling. I had the lights off. I was chilling in a chair with a massage thing around my neck because my back always hurts. And I watched this movie, and I got an hour and 40 minutes in. You know, the movie is 2 hours and 5 minutes, right? And my mom comes home, so I had to pause the movie.
Sorry.
No worries, right? But she kept talking to me, and every like 30 seconds she would say something. The last 20 minutes, I had to keep pausing the movie. So eventually, there's 15 minutes left in the movie. Okay, I suffered through 10 minutes of stop and start, and it's the end of the movie. Like, this is when everything is coming together, right? And I'm like, can you shut up? I didn't say that, but in my mind, I'm like, can you stop asking me about my day?
Evan No Chill just goes off on his mom.
So I go down to my room, right? Thinking I'm good. Well, then, as I'm watching it, and it's getting like, they're reading the court decision or whatever, well, my dad comes home. So what does that mean? My dog alerts everyone in the continent with his voluminous howl, thunderous. So that kills, that kind of cuts through the mood a little bit. So I'm like, no, I pause it, wait for him to shut up, and then I'm watching it, and it's literally like in the scene where they're like growing old and stuff, and everything's starting to get revealed. My dad knocks on my door to ask me how my day was. Go away. Stop caring about my day.
My day is worse because you knocked on my door.
Please. I almost made it through the movie, but those last 20 minutes, I kept getting interrupted. I was like, gosh darn.
To quote a movie you've never seen before, you'll get your rent when you fix this damn door! Sorry, I had to get that out. Do you know what that's from?
No. Why would I know what that's from?
Spider-Man yells that at his landlord in Spider-Man 3 when he's going through his emo phase. And
is that the one with a bunch of Spider-Mans?
That's a different Spider-Man 3.
Oh.
Because, okay, we've talked about this a little bit, but I'll just really quickly. There's three different
Spider-Mans.
There's three different ones. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was first, and he had 3 movies. Andrew Garfield had 2 movies. Tom Holland had 3 movies. And
he's getting a 4th.
Probably. I don't know if that's like official, but it's probably gonna happen. But anyway, that's funny. What did you think of what's his name? Tate and Chase that are kind of these two opposite sides of the coin, where Chase is literally just a piece of shit.
Tate's my boy. I like Tate.
And Tate is a homie, although Tate, like us all, has to figure some stuff out before he realizes that, like, oh shoot, I messed up.
But
because
I think
he leaves.
So, yeah,
and he thinks he's doing her a favor, you know? And it's really like, actually, no, man, I messed up.
One thing I wish the movie kept from the book, at least from what I was watching about the differences between the book and the movie. In the movie, Tate has to go to college, or he's going to college. And so he's going to have to leave Kaya. And she doesn't like that. She's like, man, why the heck you got to go to college? Look at me. I'm living in a swamp.
Well, she's also like, you're going to forget about me.
She says you're going to forget about me.
Stuff like that.
And he says he'll be back at the fireworks. He's not back. He doesn't come back till a while later.
In the movie, it's actually a really good scene. It's a really good scene.
It is.
She lays on the beach waiting for his boat to arrive. And she gets dressed up, she wears makeup, and he's just not there.
He never shows up. It is a good scene. But so they're looking to build hotels or whatever on her swamp, her marsh.
I mean, I'd build a hotel there, you know what I'm saying?
So she wants to keep the land, though. And she has proof that it's been passed down, and she is she technically, by way of whatever, passing it down through the family, owns the land, but she owns a bunch of taxes if she wants to keep it, because they haven't paid tax in a while. So to make this money that she owes the government, she's always drawing pictures of the creatures and wildlife in the marsh. Tate is like, hey, you can make these into books. You can get these published, which also the author of the book actually did when she was in Africa documenting the zoology there, or creatures there. She made several books. He's like, you can pay for the taxes if you get these books. Here's a list of publishers. And he gives her that. So in the movie, he gives her that before he goes to college. And then he forgets about her, and then he comes back. In the book, it sounds like he brings that to her when he comes back, which I think is better because I think it paints Tate in a better light because it shows he didn't forget about her. He was still thinking about her while he was away. And Tate's my boy, so I kind of wish they didn't do him dirty like that in the movie. But
That's true.
it's hard to be done dirty beside Chase, because
he's a big dummy.
from the jump, and you know what? I hated Chase as soon as I was introduced to him, and it's not even because like
You're supposed to.
I know,
You can
but
smell the dirtbag on him
but the thing is, right?
through the screen. You can
I don't
smell
even
it.
think I my hatred for Chase initially wasn't, I think this is gonna be a bad character. I actually thought he was gonna be a somewhat okay character. I wasn't sure. You know what threw me off,
What?
bro? His face and his hair.
His
I-
face.
I looked at this man and I was like, that is not.
It's a punchable face. That's what I meant by you can smell the dirtbag on him.
Yeah, okay, so maybe that. But I saw him and just straight off the jump, I was like, that's not my boy.
That's
That's not one of my men. I can't be associating with that looking dude. So, and then he turned out to be a douchebag. So it was like, cool. Now I have justified reason to hate him more than just his face.
sure.
So,
so
Tate's my boy though.
I have a minor complaint, and maybe it's not a complaint, maybe it's a critique, but also this is me having read. This is from the perspective of me having read the book, but I read the book like 3.5 years ago, so it's like kind of, the memories are just a little fuzzy. But I feel like I could be wrong, but I feel like they spent a little bit more time in the book with them being older, like just a little bit more. I feel like the very end of the movie felt like we just kind of like, oh yeah, and then she dies, and then oh wait, she murdered him. Oh my gosh, oh my goodness, wow, she did the thing. Oh my god,
Dude.
but it's also kind of ambiguous. Like she might not have done it, but she did it. She killed him. She definitely
But
killed
it's
him. She did
so, I love that reveal so much. Kaya is such a badass.
Yeah.
Because the lawyer paints this, the reason she's found not guilty is because the lawyer brings all this evidence and makes it seem absolutely impossible that she could have killed him. All
Yeah.
true facts that he brought forward. But then finding out she actually was the one who killed it, she actually pulled it off in those impossible circumstances. That
and
is some top moves from Kaya.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, but the interesting thing is, yeah, she murdered a guy, and maybe she should be in jail. But also, but that's like the moral conflict within you when you're like experiencing the stories, because you're like, but that guy was a piece of garbage, and he raped her, and he did horrible things to her, or at least he tried to rape her. I think in the book he straight up like actually does it. In the movie, he attempts to, right, and she like smacks him with a rock. Is that what happens?
She gets a clean elbow in there. She
That's
lands
what
some
it
nice ground and pound. Khabib
Yeah.
was jealous in that moment.
And then
I'm telling you,
And-
I'm watching that. I'm like, she's got top of it. She's got
And you're
out.
like-
She's raining it down. Look at her go.
the moment you realize like that she killed him, you're like, oh, hold on a second, she is guilty of this thing, but you're like,
You
okay
don't
with
care.
it, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're okay with it.
Which is kind of morally like
It's like waiting the truck.
it is a similar sentiment to Wait in the Truck. Similar, not exactly the same.
Not identical. It's like
But
if the
it's a
girl went in
similar-
and killed him, but like, it's the fact that like
I guess.
it's the conflict of knowing someone literally committed murder, but also like in your head, you don't hate it. You kind of
Yeah,
think it's
and-
justified.
Yeah, you feel like the big reason why you're kind of okay with it is because you know why she has to do it and why she doesn't fess up to it.
Yeah, in a way she does have to, because he is like just hunting her down, like
Yeah,
she's having to
and-
like hide and stuff.
Yeah, and the thing is, if she tried to do anything, like if she tried to address it in a legal, like normal fashion, nobody would believe her.
Because she's
You
just
know.
Marsh Girl.
Well, because everybody thinks she's weird and a freak and stuff like that. Nobody likes her, except I mean, there's a few people that are fond of her, but like Mabel and what's her husband's name? I don't. Do you know? Do you remember? Those are the real.
I always forget
those are the
his
real
name.
homies, by the way.
The store owners
husband
for sure.
Yeah, the store owners.
Why do I keep forgetting his name?
But it was
Shrimp or
the
something?
husband.
No, it
You
was
should
something.
watch Forrest Gump sometime.
It was
Shrimp.
something goofy. Hold on.
Here, let me look up the cast.
Jumpin'. Okay, it was
Jumpin'.
Jumpin'.
Oh yeah, obviously a nickname. Unless you name a kid Jumpin', I mean, I don't know. This, and also to put this into perspective, I believe this was in like supposed to take place in like the 60s, I think.
1969, I believe.
Yeah. So there's still a little bit of kind of like race stuff kind of going on, especially because we're kind of near that border, so we're a little bit more southern. We're a little, even though it's North Carolina, it's not very northern, you could say. It's a tad bit racist, quite frankly. But yeah, it is a really good movie. When I first heard Carolina, I was like, this is an alright song. But then I had to like refresh myself on the story, and then I was like, yeah, this is a better song than I thought it was.
Yeah, it made me really give Taylor her flowers. I was like, holy crap, like that is actually a really good song.
Okay, so this movie is a 5 out of 5 or a 10 out of 10 or whatever, right? For you.
I loved it. I don't know if that's like some wrong take or something, but
it's not a wrong take.
This movie.
I think with where you're at, the thing is, everyone watches movies differently, and then you have like people like me that like are just really into movies, and so I will digest.
People value different parts. I think the reason it like lands so much with me is because it was like not the first, but to the greatest extent that I was actually like fully engaged. Like I was there like locked in, connected with the characters, getting like emotionally invested. And so when it ended and it was this whole feeling like, holy crap, I just witnessed that. It was like it was the best viewing experience I've had. And I just like the movie. I like the setting of it. I like the murder plot. I like the characters.
There's actually a lot of really pretty shots in this movie.
Dude, I love it. And I think I definitely have maybe a bias towards things that look somewhat familiar. I didn't grow up in the Carolina marshes or anything, but just generally like anything around the water, or like when you come here, I'll show you. I'll show you the kind of scenery we got.
Evan's gonna take me by the hand and lead me on a leisurely stroll
up a fire tower.
Oh shoot! Evan's gonna kill me.
But no, so maybe I have a bias because it looks familiar, but it's just another way in which I think the movie just lands with me. I just love it.
Sure. Yeah. So, I think, just thinking ahead, I think it'd be cool to... I think I either want to have you watch Gladiator or La La Land next. We're definitely gonna... I think those will be the next two. It just depends on which one you want to watch first. One has really good jazz music, and one has young Russell Crowe, like, murdering people, but it's, like, really sad, but, like, really good.
Young Russell Crowe murdering people, and it's, like, really sad, but it's, like, really good.
It's, like, well, he's not, like, murdering... he's not, like, a psychopath. It's a revenge story. It's, like I want revenge because I was done dirty, and my wife and child were oofed, and now I want to kill everyone. That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. I'll tell you. I'll be like, watch this. I might have some trivia if we want to take a peek at that.
Also, there's my little image I sent you.
This is actually kind of a cool little thing that I didn't know. Okay, so the song that Chase sings to Kaya in bed is called Long Black Veil. And it's a 1959 Lefty Frizzell folk ballad about a man who refuses to give an alibi when charged for a murder that he didn't commit. So it's kind of...
how the turntables.
Yeah. It's a bit of a semi-foreshadowing, but also not really, because it's like, oh, hold on a second. She did commit that murder.
Hold on. Stop the tape there.
This is kind of cool too. I liked. There's a certain scene, and this little trivia thing has to do with that. There's a scene where Chase is like, I wonder what makes the sky blue, and Kaya's like, it's the blue and violet wavelengths from sun. She does the thing where she's like, actually, it's the blue and violet wavelengths from the sunlight, and they bounce off as gas particles in the atmosphere, and they scatter. And it's like, hey yo, Kaya, okay, she's spitting. All right,
Let her cook.
Yo, she's cooking. Let her cook. And apparently is I just thought that was funny. I guess is the point of that. But she is correct when she says that, which is cool. And I also really like that scene because it kind of establishes that Kaya is intelligent, although people think that she's stupid and like doesn't, like she's unsophisticated, uneducated. But if anything, she's
stupid.
If anything, she's more knowledgeable because she's so in tune with the world around her.
Yeah, she knows what's going.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, stop. Guanin? She knows what's guanin. Oh my gosh. Tom, I need you to chill. All right? All right. From Eddie to Tom, chill. All right?
No. I don't think I will.
Okay.
Do you have more trivia by chance?
Oh, yeah, I got one more. This is kind of just a fun little thing. The trailer for this film was released on Reese Witherspoon's birthday, March 22nd.
That's crazy, though.
Also, I'm curious, what was the... Do you have something to say? Because you asked me about a thing.
What did I ask you about?
Well, you were like... I don't know. You asked me if I had more to say.
No, I was wondering if you had more trivia.
Okay, well, I do have one thing that I want to look up. But do you have anything to fill that time up while I look this thing up?
I definitely do.
It's not a big deal.
I accidentally went to a... Oh.
Well, here. Okay. I wanted to look up how it performed financially because it was interesting to me. I want to know what its budget is. It made 140 million worldwide. Tell me the budget, please. Movie budget. For a movie like this, 140 million worldwide is decent. Especially, okay, it only had a budget of 24 million, so it made money, and that's
quite a bit, yeah.
And it's also been pretty hot and spicy on Netflix, so it's performed pretty well. Were you saying something?
Oh, I was just gonna fill the space, but we got there, so it doesn't matter.
Well, fill this space then.
I'll save that story.
Oh.
Or you know what?
Okay.
We have a lot of music to talk about next week. Maybe I should just say the story. So
That's fair. I need to listen to Kelsey's stuff, actually. I haven't gotten around to
yet.
that.
That's an L.
Well, I haven't been in the mood because I know it's gonna be like I get work.
Carly
work
Pierce.
is just. It's been a week.
Carly
and
Pierce vibes.
Yeah, I work has just been crazy, and so like when I get in the car, I like want to. It's just not like I don't want to listen to something new. I want something like familiar. I need to be in like those. I want to be in the zone. So.
I understand that. Well, anyways, my story time is I accidentally wound up VIP at a Noah Kahan show.
Oh. Yeah.
Which is kind of goofy. So here's the situation. I'm going to see Noah Kahan in September, and some of my friends, a few of them, they had tickets to go see him in Detroit.
And yes, guys,
Friday.
Evan has those.
That took me a second to process. Oh, I have another. Oh, okay. Well, let me get through one story before I get to the other.
Oh, Evan got a new friend. New friend.
So, anyways, I am at the gym, right, and I'm leaving the gym.
Evan's always gotta nonchalantly be like, yeah, so I've been at the gym, right?
Yeah, but then I also gotta nonchalantly point out the fact that I'm always injured. Like, I'm nonchalantly reeking of A535 on my neck. So, like, you know.
What is A5? A5 is that like like steak sauce?
A1 A535, like the muscle
A1
relaxant cream.
Hey yo.
You don't use Rob A535?
Bruh, my back doesn't hate me.
I was gonna say you have a young body. I have the body of a 75-year-old carpenter.
What is?
Anyways, look, shut up. So, I'm leaving the gym, and my buddy calls me, and I'm like, well, this is strange. you should be in school still. Like,
I thought you
know.
were about to say you should be in jail.
You
I don't know
shouldn't
why
be
my
a free man.
Wait, yeah, why are you? What are you doing here?
So he gives me a call, and I pick up. I'm like, yo, what's up? He's like, yo, so there was 3 of them going, and he's like, the one buddy, he got sick. Do you want his ticket to the Noah Kahan show tonight? And I'm like, heck yeah, I want the ticket to the Noah Kahan show tonight. What the heck? That just made my Friday
So
night a
did you
little
pay him for
spicier.
it, or did you just get a free ticket?
No, I paid him for it. But here's the thing, right? The ticket was $200. And so right away, I was like, well, that's interesting because my ticket to see him in September is $60. So I was just like,
that's a
maybe they didn't get it right away. And so it was like marked up or something. But
$200, wow.
I was like, you know what? A night out to Detroit with the boys. Why not? And a concert. Let's go. So we went to Detroit. We went over the border. I don't like Detroit, man. I'm sorry if you live in Detroit. It's not a good city. It's a dump. It's one of my least favorite places to be.
Oh my God.
I hate it. We got stopped at a street light that we couldn't cross, and this one homeless dude came up to us and started asking us for all sorts of money, which is not a rare occurrence, right? But definitely was not expecting him to start bragging about how
being
he
around poor people. They smell
no.
bad.
You gotta let me finish this.
Okay.
Definitely wasn't expecting him to start bragging about the fact that he murdered someone where we were standing and just got out of jail for 20 years. I was like, wow, that doesn't make me want to give you any money. Can this light please switch? Like, do you have it? What's going on? So anyways, I hate Detroit, man. Like when the show ended, it was all right. Go down, get to the car, get in, lock the doors when we get in the car, drive out, go home.
Yeah,
I
it really
hate
do
Detroit.
It really do be like that sometimes.
Yeah. I emptied my wallet other than what I needed for the show. I was not bringing anything I didn't need. But anyways, we get down to Detroit. We look at the tickets, and I'm like, oh, we're not general admission. We have seats. And I looked at the venue. It's the Fillmore, which is a beautiful venue. And it's got general admission on the floor, and then it's got a big balcony with a bunch of seats up there too. So I was like, that's nice because we don't have to wait because it was cold and windy. I was like, we don't have to wait in that line to get a good spot for general admission. We can just show up after doors open. So that's what we did. We waited. We still had to wait in line for a few minutes, but it wasn't like 3 hours. And we go in, and the line for the merch is just crazy. So we're like, oh man, don't even know if we'll get merch tonight, right? Look around. We go up to the balconies, and we're just like, we can't find our seats. We're just like, what the heck?
I've experienced this before.
The ticket let us in, so it's a legitimate ticket, but we cannot find our seats. We go down. Anyways, I spot behind the VIP guards, behind the rope they have blocking off the section. I'm like, wait, that's the title of our section. I was like, I looked at the tickets. I'm like, that can't be right. So anyways, we go up and we show them. We're like, are we here? And some guy in a suit's like, oh yeah. And he like escorted us to our seat. It's like cushiony velvet red seats with a little table. We're on the lower balcony with a fantastic view. And it's just, we're looking at each other like, what? And
That's
Bishop's,
sad behavior.
bro, my buddy, he's like, that's why the tickets were so expensive. But
They didn't even realize they bought VIP tickets.
he did not realize he bought VIP. He didn't know until we got there. And we're sitting there. All the people up here that are in VIP are like, like adults and like dressed really nicely, whatever. All the people that look like us, like teenage dudes in flannels and khakis, they're all down there. In fact, we knew some people who were down there, and we were like waving at them. And we said we'd stand with them if we could, but then we called them. We're like, hey, yo, we ain't standing with you.
Yeah,
we're in the VIP, and we're waving, and they're just like, what the heck? Bro, it was the most comfortable concert experience I've ever had. We didn't stand up till the second last song. We're just chilling in our seats with a fantastic view. And then the opener was Jack Van Cleef. He was really good. I've really been messing with his music. I might bring him for What Are We Listening To? Now that I've said his name, maybe I won't. But check out his song Gem State. I put it on my story the other day. It's fantastic. After he finished, there was about half hour between him and Noah coming out. And so I was like, well, boys, the people down in general admission, if they leave, they lose their spot. No one's taken our VIP seat. So we went down to the merch stand, not a single person in line, bought our merch, went up, went to the bathroom. We didn't have to hold it this whole show. Came back, showed them our VIP tickets.
Life like this
Got
sure is
re-escorted.
grand, ain't it?
That's what, bro. The whole time we were just laughing, saying we don't belong here at all.
That's funny.
But it was so good, and the show was great.
Yeah.
Noah put on a great show. I also, big news, your boy's going to see Zach Bryan in London. Yes, sir. He's got the tickets.
You're going to London.
Yeah, to see Zach Bryan.
Anyway, is that in Ontario?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. When I hear the words London, I think
England.
I think England.
Yeah, I know. It's funny because like, the States and Canada, all of our like names are just stolen. There's a Paris,
Yeah.
Ontario.
We literally
There's,
have
like-
New England and New Mexico.
There's a Stratford in Ontario. It's just like we just stole their names. Like,
Yeah. I have a quick story that kind of is slightly similar to.
yeah, but I don't want to hear it.
It'll be very quick and maybe not as good, but kind of funny because so basically my buddy Jared is like, yo, bro, I got given these 2 free tickets to a Cincinnati Reds game. So that's MLB.
I know that.
Okay, I'm giving context for people that might not know that. Evan.
Fair. I thought you were trying to dumb me down. I'm like, I understand baseball.
Yeah, no, Evan, you wouldn't understand. Baseball's American, okay? So, heck off.
You should come. Okay, wait, real quick before you continue your story. Any update on you being able to come up for the main?
I haven't tried. I'll try to do that soon. I'll try to look up.
'Cause
the
if so-
status of my passport thingy.
If so, you're coming to a hockey game. I hope you know that.
I've been to a hockey game before. I enjoy hockey.
I don't
do.
care. We're still gonna go anyway.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I sure. Why not?
It's
you
a
paying for my
Canadian
ticket?
thing, Jaron. What?
You paying for my ticket?
Absolutely not. In fact, I think you should pay for mine.
Okay. Anyway,
There's a fee to getting in my country, Jaron.
So Jared was like, "Bro, I got these 2 free tickets. I've never even been to I've been to baseball games, but I've never been to a major league baseball game. So this was like, okay, this will be fun. I've been in Cincinnati once or twice. This will be a fun time. My buddy Jared had gone to college in Cincinnati for 2 years, so
he knew the place.
So he was familiar with the area. And we get there, and we start looking for our seats, and we're looking for our seats, and we're looking for our seats, and we keep looking for our
Those
seats.
baseball diamonds are huge, man.
Yeah,
Like, it's not
and
hard to do
we
baseball.
walked back and forth, up and down. So after literally an hour and a half of looking for our seats, I looked real hard at the ticket, and realized that the free tickets that Jared's friends
Were they
from
box?
church, they were they weren't box, but they were like VIP club seats. So basically there's this where the only way to get there is by taking an elevator. And then we had to explain to the old ladies that are at the when you walk out of the elevator. That we were they were you guys are a little late because it was we didn't find our seats until the 5th inning. And we were we didn't because people kept saying that's where you want to go. They would point we'd be at the opposite end of the stadium and be you're gonna want to be there. And it's okay, but how do we get there? And so we finally got there, and this we're able it's all you can eat food. So if I want food, all I have to do is go in there and get food.
And those ball
drinks-
diamonds charge crazy money.
Yeah,
So-
it's drinks, all you can eat food. But the thing is, the tickets weren't cheap, but I didn't have to pay for them; they were free. And the
You
seats were
wanna-
pretty good. They weren't red velvet cushion a private table, but.
Dude, I couldn't believe it when we got there. I was like,
But there was a huge common area where all the food was, and there were tables and stuff in there with couches and stuff. But we sat outside and watched the game because we weren't we're not idiots. We're not stupid. We're gonna. It's un-American. I feel like there's something simple about a baseball game that's just baseball and basketball. I couldn't watch baseball on TV, but
oh, I love it. It's so chill.
but I can't do it on TV. But in person, I love baseball. I just really enjoy it. It's just the atmosphere it's a vibe, bro. It's a humongous vibe.
Baseball is a vibe. You want to know a fun fact about a fun story about going to a baseball game? So years ago.
No, I'll pass.
It doesn't matter. We're like a dysfunctional marriage. Years ago, we were gonna go to a ball game in Detroit, the lovely metropolis of Detroit.
The booming metropolis.
Yes, the functioning economy.
Yeah.
and the great people of Detroit. Anyways, we're gonna go to a Tigers game. I think like the Jays were playing in Detroit, so we're like, hey, let's go down. We were going with my papa, and it was me, my brother, my papa.
I like it when you
and
call me Big Pop.
my dad, and we went down. And jokingly, as we're backing out of the driveway, not seriously, but jokingly, my brother's just like, "Ha, Papa, you got the tickets?" And he's
Oh.
like, "No, I don't." And so he ran in and grabbed the tickets because I mean we still had paper tickets, and it was just like, oh my gosh, if we drove all the way to Detroit
You almost.
and then found
you
out
almost-
that he didn't have the that would have sucked.
It's a really
going
good
to
thing-
Detroit and not
Ooh.
getting, bro. Imagine going to Detroit and then like not being able to do anything while you're there other than be in Detroit. That the worst part about Detroit is being in Detroit.
The neutral state of being in Detroit
Is the
just
worst
a
part.
negative. It's
the worst part. So imagine going to Detroit and then that being the only reason you're there. I'd rather be in Windsor. In fact, I was in Windsor a few days ago.
Yeah,
That's
Windsor's
a whole
the
nother
worst.
story.
I hate Windsor.
Hey, wait, actually, Windsor's across the river from Detroit. Man, there's something in that area. something ain't right over there. Because don't nobody like Windsor. Don't nobody like Detroit.
I can tie a Windsor knot like a tie.
All
I can
right.
tie a Windsor knot.
I can't. I still gotta Google it every time. How to tie a tie. And some dude's just making bank off of his tutorial. Like this guy's.
Is
cashing
it
in
this?
checks.
Is it that one dude with like an accent?
Yeah.
Every dude knows that video.
Every
'cause
guy
you're the-
knows the video.
how to tie a Windsor knot.
Especially like grad and prom when I had to wear a tie like 3 times in the span of a month. It was just like, oh, I had a wedding too. So it was like, dude, within like 3 months, I had to wear a tie like 6 times. And you'd think I would have figured it out by then. I didn't.
So there was a period of time where I had to tie a tie so much that I did remember, but then I went like a year and a half without doing it, and I was like,
You just forget.
crap. Like I'm not a dude that has to wear a tie every day, so it's like, you know.
It's funny. My dad, he used to wear one for work, but not anymore. So he couldn't remember how to tie a tie. So we actually had to go to my neighbor, like for grad or prom. Maybe it was both. I forget. We had to go over to my neighbors and be like, "Hey, do you know how to tie a tie?" He was like, "Oh yeah," and he like showed me how to do it. To which I forgot. No.
And then you forgot, yeah.
Like when we posed for the Waves on the Shore pictures, where we have the dress shirts and tie.
yeah.
That was a process to like get my tie on. And before I took it off, I made darn sure, have I taken all the images I need? Do I have a good image that I'm happy with?
That's
then
fair.
I took the tie
Putting
off.
a tie on, like committing to having a tie on, and then like taking it off, like that. The act of taking the tie off is like, don't do it.
There's no
Don't
going
do it.
back now.
Don't do, don't do it unless you know that you don't have to take it off. Yeah. Well, we haven't talked about where the crawdads sing in like 20 minutes.
That's fine.
So,
We had some good discussion about it. Yeah.
I would I would give it like I would keep my rating. So I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. So I guess out of 10 that would be, well, it's the best movie ever, right?
Yeah, by our standards.
Yeah.
But legitimately for me, this is the best movie I've seen. Well,
Yeah.
look, I can't even break down like the specifics, the nooks and crannies of movie production and what makes a good movie. It's not like how I can break down music, but for me, this is my new favorite movie for sure.
That's cool.
I love it. I was so excited to talk about it. I was like, yo,
I expected you to like it, but I didn't. I honestly, I don't think I was expecting you to like it as much as you did.
I wasn't either. I was interested because the Taylor Swift song, but
Yeah.
and I mean,
Well, that was my
didn't-
reasoning, and I was like, well, he was a big fan of Carolina, and this is a pretty solid movie, so why don't we watch it? And that
Dude, it
just
was
kinda-
a
was the thought
fantastic
process.
pick.
All right,
New
well,
favorite.
I got to poop, and so does my dog, so we'll see you guys later.
Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Movies Not Music. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a comment below. And if you'd like to connect with us personally, you can find both of us on Instagram at The Waves on the Shore, and our personal accounts, myself, Evan, at The Overshore, and Jaron at JEPWOTS.